make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. It's been a lot of talk about a few things I wanted us to kind of tackle with this. The Hall of Justice mural.
Ooh.
Now, this here got a lot of people talking about this, and as far as what stands out, what we think, Gunn was trying to show us with this. Do you have any theories with this, or any maybe a character or two that kind of stands out to you on this?
Um. Well, for one, Wildcat. I've been seeing a lot of
Yes,
speculation
yes.
online for a petition for Tom Welling to be the future Wildcat. I need that to
Ooh.
happen. I need like yesterday. I need that. So we need Tom Welling back
Mm-hmm.
in DC universe. Like we need him. We need him here. We need that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's one that's pretty like I'm excited to see what they do with that because with the JLU animated series, he was a big prominent character in there, especially coaching Black Canary and stuff like that. He was kind of her mentor in that show, so that's I've always liked his character,
Mm-hmm.
so that's one that really stood out to
Yeah.
me.
Props to Gun. Yeah. Again, he got a few good characters in here. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wildcat. A lot of people that saw recently the Stargirl series,
Oh yeah,
Wildcat, the original, had a brief cameo in there. But this is this could be a really cool project. Just off the bat, like if you want to do something low budget or something like that, show us Wildcat's story, Gun. Like that,
yeah,
just really, he's in hand to hand combat. I believe the suit gives him enhanced abilities, and there's different versions of it, but
yeah, yeah,
looking forward to that as far as potential. Because what Gunn, him putting this mural out there again, setting up the film, which was one of the best openings for a CBM film. That monologue, whatever the information that Gunn did in the beginning of Superman, where it's like 3 centuries, you
yeah.
know, metahumans have been around. So it's like it's all this past that Gunn could pull from. Now, one thing I'm gonna point out on the bottom there, towards the middle, a lot of people thought it was Jay Garrett. That's not. That's another speedster. Like we're talking
Hmm.
golden age. Like
Yeah.
Gunn, Gunn really. I'm serious. He sat there just with all these characters. Was like, okay, let me play with all these different ones to throw something out there. Now, a few of these names have been identified and I believe confirmed by Gunn too. Madame Xanadu, let's see, is where's Xanadu? She is. I'm looking at it like backwards. Oh, the far
Okay.
left on the bottom, far left.
Okay.
That's a
That's
version of Madame
okay.
Xanadu. So obviously that makes us think of J.O. Dark, right? Like,
Yeah.
like good. Like there's some past there because that's when we see these characters. One thing to be like, oh, it's cool to see these characters, but then realize in this living, breathing DC world is 3 centuries,
Yeah.
300 or 3 centuries, yeah, of these characters. So there's a backstory already for a version of Xanadu, which is I think very interesting.
Shout out to
Um,
Sandman.
Sam, so the Wesley Dodds version, and let's see where because I remember seeing him. Where is he at on here?
In the bottom next to I don't know his
Oh, is he
name.
like in the middle?
Not in the middle. He's more towards for me looking at it, he's
Oh,
on
towards the
the
right.
right side. Yeah, to the right side on the
Okay, yeah,
bottom. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Next to
Because I can't,
Satara. Yeah.
yeah, because I can't zoom. But yeah. So the Wesley Dodds version, this is the one where he basically is like a psychic, and he has that gas mask, and he uses a gas gun, to take out his enemies.
Yeah.
A very old school, old fashioned style. Again, that could be a whole detective show that
Yes.
Gunn could do right there, right? Like a lot of potential. And
What
I'll tell you, a lot of obscure characters. Go ahead.
Yeah, one I do want to mention. I want to give a quick shout out to Music City Soul because once this dropped, we were messaging back and forth like crazy. One that he mentioned to me, Gunfire. It's actually right on top of Sandman. Gunfire. He's actually a milestone character, which for those of you know,
Hmm.
that's where Static Shock. He's under the milestone
Mhm.
stuff. So that's if Gun does do something with Gunfire, I think that opens up the door for all Milestone characters, in the future, which I'm really hoping and pulling for, because I need to see a live action Static Shock. I need
Yeah.
that. I need that in my life.
That needs to be like automatic, and I'm sure some. I think Gunn tipped towards that there was some kind of rights issues
Yeah.
with all the Milestone characters, so hopefully that gets worked out because everyone wants to see Static, and I want to see Icon, and
Yes, Icon. Yeah.
what's the other one? He's basically like a Tony Stark. Was it Hardware? I think it's Hardware. Let me see. I want to double
Yeah.
check. Yeah, Hardware. Yeah, he's like basically a Black Iron Man. That's pretty much what he is. He has all
Mm.
the tech and everything like that. So a lot of potential for Milestone. I hope they figure that out. Let's see. One more. You mentioned Gunfire, so that's cool. The top right, Maxwell Lord,
Yeah.
is there. So he he owns, the Hall of Justice. So of course he'll put himself in this painting here. But I gotta say, like, we only mentioned like less than a third of the characters on here. So
Yeah.
there is a lot of potential for these obscure characters that Gunn can flesh out this world. Now, one thing I do like, because people's like, okay, how come so and so isn't on there? Or I'm thinking like the time has passed for all these heroes, right? Yeah, maybe they
Yeah.
passed the mantles at times or something like that. So um, certain characters that he didn't put in here, showing that there's future stories for these characters, because most of these, all these characters are past stories, right? So,
Yeah.
but cool thing there, and I'm sure it's there for a reason. I don't think Gunn just threw that out there like, hey, look,
And,
look at these
and,
characters.
some of those characters, Starman, being one that's not up there. Do you think maybe they passed on the mantle to him and then he took over the team later on, or vice versa? Like
Mm,
that's something to think about. Hawkman
right.
also. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely we gotta get some Hawkman stuff in. But yeah, the fact that he's not attached to this former mural here, it
yeah,
raises some questions, like interesting questions, like, okay, how's Gunn going to navigate, through this? This is a living, breathing DC world, his version.
yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see
The
what comes from
Smallville,
that.
fan in me, man. Because I don't know if you guys remember when the Justice Society showed up on Smallville, that kind of like showed Clark about joining a league together and becoming the Justice League. The Justice Society in that world of Smallville, they were considered criminals, so they were taken off the databases. The government kind of like shunned them and all that stuff. So not to say that something like that is going to happen, but I mean, maybe that group of heroes, they had to, something happen with the government, they had to be taken off the board. That's why they're not propped up, because as we saw in the Superman film, when it comes to stuff with the government and stuff like that, they are very quick to down on certain heroes and taken out of the
Mhm.
limelight. So we never know.
Mhm.
It's something
Yeah,
to play with.
be a lot of potential. Again, a living DC world that he can go any direction with those. So that's
Yeah.
going to be interesting to see what he does, pulling from the past there. Now let's pivot here, because since we again, Superman's out there is doing his numbers.